So you've heard that the National Guard pays for college, and you're wondering, is that true? And if so, how? Did you also know that we pay for more than just college? Today, I'm going to talk to you about how the Army National Guard pays for college and more programs. Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel, TeamWillbob. I'm Sergeant First Class Robert Williams, a recruiting and retention NCO for the Washington Army National Guard. Do me a favor and hit that subscribe button and that bell icon so you can see more of my videos in the future. And if it's helpful, do me a favor and hit that like button so the algorithm will show it to more people. The first thing you need to know is that there are three components to the Army. The regular Army, which is also known as active duty, the Army Reserve, and the Army National Guard. The Reserve and the Guard are called reserve components. The regular Army, or active duty, is a full-time job. You're going to go where they want you to go and live where they want you to live. The Army Reserve and the Army National Guard are part-time forces where we work generally one weekend most months and around 2 weeks during the summer. All three components go to the same basic training, the same job training, and can deploy to the same places overseas. But each of the three has their own main mission. The active duty is the permanent force, the reserves are meant to augment active duty and provide support roles, and the National Guard's main mission is to provide assistance inside the U.S. when there are emergencies, but is also the combat reserve of the Army, having over 50% of the infantry. I have another video that goes over all of that, but that's a brief overview so that you can understand the context of this video. Now, on to how the National Guard helps you pay for college and other things. I'm going to break that down into four categories: what everybody in the Army gets, ROTC, extra money specifically from the Guard, and other indirect ways that the National Guard helps. Everyone in the Army gets federal tuition assistance for paying for college. It's 16 semester credit hours every fiscal year, October through September, for up to a total of $4,000. We also all get credentialing assistance. This is also up to $4,000, and payments can vary for the individual programs depending on your component. For instance, the full-time active duty Army only gets $1,000 at a time for flight training, whereas the Guard, and I believe also the Reserves, can get the full $4,000 for learning how to fly like a plane or a helicopter. I will talk about that a little more in just a bit. Everyone in the Army also has the opportunity to get the GI Bill. There are two parts to this. There's the Reserve GI Bill, which will pay you $481 in the current school year per month, and you have to do a 6-year contract for that. And then there is the post 9/11 GI Bill. This will pay for all of the tuition and fees for the university you're going to go to, or community college also, and then it will pay you the housing allowance for whatever the zip code is where your university is, at least at the pay rate of E5. You can look that up online, it's public information. However, for the post 9/11 GI Bill, you must do 3 full years after training to be able to get the maximum 100% benefit. If you do less than that, you will get a percentage. And then there's the student loan repayment plan that everyone in the Army has the opportunity to get, which will pay up to $50,000 to repay your federal student loans. But you have to already have these loans, or you can only add them for the next term that you're in college. So don't do this one unless you have at least close to the $50,000 so that you can get the maximum benefit, because you're only able to get this once in your entire career. Otherwise, you're just wasting the money. And another thing, you have to specifically qualify for this. So you might have to get a 50 on the ASVAB or meet other conditions after you go to like maybe a second contract. The second category is ROTC, the Reserve Officer Training Corps. This is an officer producing program that you do at a university. And this provides scholarships that will pay all of your tuition and fees or all of your room and board, plus a stipend of $420 per month while you're in the months that you're taking classes. Some private colleges will also give you a grant or a waiver for all of your room and board, so it's effectively a full ride. All right, now my favorite part, the extra money from the Guard. So the Guard and the Reserves get some things that the active duty does not. The first of which is the simultaneous membership program. This is where you're actually in ROTC and the National Guard or the Reserves at the same time. You do your 1 weekend a month, you do your 2 weeks during the summer. Usually that's whatever you're doing for your cadet training, and you are learning what the enlisted personnel do. You are shadowing officers, you're gaining experience and knowledge so that when you get your commission and you're a lieutenant, you have a little bit better of an understanding and ability to actually work within the regular parts of the military. You also come out getting paid more because our pay is dependent upon both our rank and our time in the service. The Guard and Reserve can also get federal tuition assistance before they go to basic training because you're technically in the military the day you sign your contract, whereas the regular Army isn't technically in the military until the day they go back and ship out to training. And then we can also get the GI Bill kicker, which is an additional $350 per month on top of the Reserve GI Bill. And then there are state-specific ways where the National Guard is given extra money. And this is in a number of different fashions depending on how each individual state or territory decides to structure it. They can have grants, they can have tuition waivers, they can have just straight up free college, or some states even do reimbursement where after you pass your classes, you go take your grades and they give you the money back for the tuition and fees. The intent of these programs is to, one way or another, pay for all of your college, not just that $4,000 that you get from federal tuition assistance. The last category is indirect ways that you can benefit from being in the National Guard. The first of which is that you are automatically an in-state resident for tuition purposes. So if you move from one state to another and you're paying usually about 3 times as much as the in-state students, as soon as you sign your contract for the National Guard, you are a resident of that state and can receive that in-state tuition. You just got to actually tell the school yourself so that they know to stop charging you the higher amount. And then you might also be able to get tuition reductions. For instance, the University of Washington will cut your tuition in half, and Washington State University gives you a 30% reduction for 1 degree. So if you're going to be going to grad school, use it for that because it's a bigger savings. One really important thing to remember: do not drop your classes for financial reasons until you talk to me or one of the National Guard recruiters in your own state. We might be able to help you get financial aid so you don't have to leave. For instance, the National Guard grant in Washington can be applied retroactively for the school year. All right, now what if you don't want to go to college? What if you want to do a trade school? What if you just want to get a certification as like a personal trainer, a cybersecurity specialist, or become a police officer, a firefighter, or just want to go learn to fly an airplane? There are ways that we can pay for all of those things also. For instance, the GI Bill will pay for academies and apprenticeships. So if you're going to be a police officer or a firefighter, or go be a plumber or an electrician, you can use that GI Bill to help support yourself while you're doing that training, or just get extra money if they're already paying you anyway. The National Guard grant in Washington will pay for other things: community college, trade schools, and many other things that are just training and education that happen after high school. It's called the Postsecondary grant because it's just anything after secondary school. And then you've got the credentialing assistance. This is to pay for just about anything where an accrediting body will give you a certificate saying you've been trained and tested in whatever area: human resources, flight training, personal training, cybersecurity. There are literally thousands of areas that this will pay for. You just got to go and ask, and you're most likely going to find them. All right, this is a pretty comprehensive list, but it's not everything. I hope you use this to make a well-informed decision and have a great career ahead of you. Thank you for watching Team Willbob and learning about how the National Guard will help you pay for college. Do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so you can see my videos in the future. If you have any questions, put them in the comments section, or give me a call or a text, or send me a Facebook, WhatsApp, or Instagram message. See you next time. Angry Unicorn.